Okay. I always sound so annoying when I start off and I'm just like, okay, are you ready to go? Ready to get fired up? Um, I am a little fired up for this one. I'm not gonna lie, everyone. I have a special guest today. She is blood related. We have my sister on this podcast, Francheska. Hello.
Hello.
So I guess like typically when I start the show, I kind of just introduce myself and how the Girls That Gather podcast came to be. My name is Maria, and I did start a social group for women in Orlando, Florida. Some of the feedback that I did get was women that didn't live here were kind of bummed that they didn't have something like that where they lived. So I was like, how can I make these women part of the conversation? And this is how we're doing it. Girls That Gather podcast is an extension of that family, and we're just trying to bring you guys in. Franny, I'm going to call her Franny the whole time. Franny was one of those people that was really interested. And I'll when I do the podcast, I usually ask people, do you want to tell them how we met? But ours is very simple. We all came out of the same situation.
Yes.
I have a sister, and then we have a brother that's younger than both of us, and we have a stepsister as well that's Franny's age. But Chooch, that's another name. There are going to be many names here today. So you guys are going to be really confused. They're going to be like, who's Francheska? Who's Chooch? Who's Franny? Etc. But Chooch, where are you?
I am currently in Castle Rock, Colorado. Just moved here about 6 months ago.
But you've been in Colorado for how long overall? 'Cause you were in Denver before that.
8 years, actually.
Jeez, 8 years. Dang, okay.
I know.
I should know this because I'm her sister, but who's keeping track, honestly. Do you want to tell everyone what topic you chose for today?
My topic is what advice I would have given my younger self.
Okay. And why did you pick this topic? Why do you feel like this is an important thing to talk about?
Most recently, I been thinking about this and trying to like recap in my mind how things would have changed had I given myself, my younger self, the advice I didn't take but as I got older.
Was there like a specific moment, like an aha moment where you were like, wow, like I wish things had turned out differently based off of what just happened to me? Did something happen or?
A drastic change in my work life and just personal life in just balancing the two. That's probably the biggest thing that actually impacted me and my thoughts when it comes to that situation.
Okay. So what happened with your work stuff? Is it just like a job that you didn't, like you thought you were going to enjoy and you realized that you don't enjoy it as much as you did, or is there conflict?
All the above.
Okay. Juicy. Got it. Ready.
Yeah.
Let me grab my drink. Sipping. Uh-huh.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, it's pretty much all the above. Just jumping right into my getting into grad school and everything and choosing what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And that's one thing that I do. That's what I'm gonna talk about in further detail as we go on. But getting my toes wet in the field I wanted to get into. It's definitely changed my perspective. And now that I'm so deep into my program and all of that, I'm like wondering what was I thinking? Is this really what I want to do? And why didn't I think about this in greater detail when I was younger?
Do you want to tell everyone what your actual occupation and, your major is, what you're studying?
I'm actually going to grad school to be an early childhood education teacher. So around the ages of preschool up until second grade. And I specialize in arts. And right now I'm a preschool teacher.
Right. So Franny got her bachelor's in art over in Colorado, and now she's in grad school so that she can take that because she wants to teach art, basically. So when it comes to you and your younger self, do you know what you would give what advice you would give? And Why? And is it, so let's start with the career stuff, then let's start with the relationship stuff, and then we'll move on from there.
So yeah.
Because this is fun, right? Like, imagine, like, you have a time machine. Someone's like, I have this time machine. Go back, give yourself advice. What would you say? Like, imagine the opportunity. What would that be like? Like, first of all, I would tell myself not to pluck my eyebrows as much as I did when I was younger.
Or not
There's
to
so,
put it on the hairspray because we're paying for it now. So
yeah, like, there's so many more important things, obviously, but like, we'll talk about that too, like the little stuff, but let's go for the big stuff for now. As far as your career goes and your education, like, what do you wish you hadn't done?
At first I would have definitely, because I did back in Connecticut where we grew up. I went to try and get my associate's degree, and I buried myself in the partying of it, being free, and like got stuck in that whole mentality of like, I'm still in my teens, I want to go party, forget school.
Heck
And
yeah. I mean, I only like, I can remember when I was my freshman year of college, like, who made up this concept of let's throw a bunch of teenagers together? Let's have them live together. They've never been away from home.
yes,
Like, they have access to probably older people that can buy them booze. Let's be honest. And let's just see what happens. Let's see if they go to class. Like, let's see if they take it responsibly and, or take the responsibility seriously. No way. It was Thirsty Thursday. It was all kinds of like partying happening, some suspicious behavior. A lot
yeah.
of you that are adults now and have children and families, I know you. I
I
remember you. I saw you when you drank that rum and coke off the floor that one time, and I'm still not over it. So, like, we were gross, honestly. Like, I wasn't super gross, but like, I was definitely probably should have died a couple times. So you're partying, you wish you hadn't. That's what I'm hearing, or
Yeah, that's just like a very small part of it. And like the people I surrounded myself with. And it took me so long to get that, when mom has told us that you are defined by the people you surround yourself with. And I never really thought about that until I got much older. But I really wish I would have taken that advice and actually sat down and listened to it and really put it into perspective, because I was quite the follower when I was a teenager. I didn't have that leader mentality. So I was following my friends around, and then that caused me to fall behind. And I feel
mm,
like I should have chosen the people I surrounded myself with that were just as determined as I went into it.
right. And or just prioritized your own wants and needs too.
Mhm.
Um, and just followed yourself.
Exactly. Because I had it all set in my head. I've always told everybody, it's like, I want to be I want to work in art. I want to be an artist. I want to be an art teacher, all these things. And I lost myself in other people. And I lost my goals were just like thrown into the wind. And I was just wanted to be what everybody else was as well. Just party and ignore everything else. And then everything just fell behind as the years went on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to sit here and confess with you because I was a terrible freshman year of college. I was terrible. Like, I slept through some of my classes. Like, I was living it up. I definitely learned my lesson because I couldn't go to that school like the second year. So I went to a different school. Like, I went to a community school, and I had to drive to class every day. And I think that that works for me even now as an adult, because I have the capability of working from home with my job in real estate. And but I know myself. I will get work done at home, but I need to physically get up, make my bed, put some makeup on, get dressed, put my like power outfit on, whatever that makes me feel strong that day. Go to the office, interact with my peers, my colleagues in the industry, have conversations. A lot of my deals have actually been through conversation. Um, and that's what works. So when I was in college, it makes sense that like I got more done because I physically had to get up, get ready, go to
Mhm.
class, and be there with a purpose, versus like my bedroom was like steps away from my classroom. And I was like, do I want to go? No.
Yep, exactly.
So, okay. So we got that, advice down for like school and stuff. When it comes to relationships, what do you think you would advise your younger self about that? You both make a face like,
Because
"Ugh."
you've been there, you saw it all go down. So
Brandy has some questionable taste. I'm not going to lie.
really do. It's
I look
terrible.
back at some of your choices and I was like,
But
yikes.
why?
I was like, really? That guy? Okay. I mean, I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect, but you've had some interesting characters. So what would you say to little Franny on that?
Little Franny. First off, like not to rush it. I feel like I consider myself like the ugly duckling. I never dated in high school. I stayed to myself. My circle was very, very tiny, and I'm still friends with those people to this day. That's how small it was. But I didn't date. I didn't see that as a priority for myself because I didn't see it as a possibility, if that makes any sense. So whenever the chance did come and someone did show interest in me, I jumped right into it. And I kind of just like was just drunk in love. Let's just go through there. Let's just be cliche with that.
You were
Like,
just so excited to be with someone and have like
be
someone's
seen in
interest
a
and
way.
attention. Yeah, be seen for sure. Yeah, okay. Okay. That's
So like
understandable.
be seen, be like take like be thought of. Because at that, when I was younger, I had those issues. I just didn't feel that way. And so having that person, I was just like, yay, let's do this, constantly on the phone and everything like that. And
What were your insecurities like when you were younger? Like, what were the things that did you think to yourself? You probably wondered, like, why doesn't someone want to date me? Why doesn't someone have interest or like me? What kind of things went through your head about that?
um, I
You don't have to say all of them, but if you could just like pick one or two.
um I felt like I had, what was it? I was on a pedestal in some way that like, let me just like elaborate on it. Like, we went to school together for a little while, and I kind of felt like a little bit of a shadow. So like I didn't see like you, I was, like I said, I felt like the ugly duckling. I was
Like
uh
my shadow?
yes, I was very awkward. You were
Oh
very lively. You were very lively. Everybody loved you. I loved you. Like I didn't resent you. I just felt like I was put on a pedestal to be little Maria. You remember them calling me little Maria.
no. So like yes and no, because I feel like it's interesting to hear you say that because when I look back at high school, I don't think I was anywhere near as outgoing as I've become. I felt that I was awkward because we all have our own set of problems and no one, like you are having one experience, not realizing I'm having a totally different experience. I can see what you're saying by like the teachers really liked me. And I was a pretty good student for the most part in high school. And there were a couple teachers that were like, even with you, because we have a brother. And like, I remember one teacher was like, for my sister, she also was well behaved. Our brother, he got himself, he's great now. Like everyone, like he is responsible. He's probably more responsible than both of us combined. Honestly, he's like an old man on the inside. But when he was in high school, he was a little shit. I don't know
What?
how to put it. And so when he went to high school, they were like, you're Maria's little brother, you're Francheska's little brother. Like they couldn't believe it because he was challenging, right? He liked to challenge them because he's pretty smart and he felt like he wasn't challenged in high school. So he kind of acted out on that. But when it comes to you and I, it's interesting that you say that and you felt like you were a shadow of mine because I did not feel lively, like you said. Honestly, I look back in high school and I would never repeat it. Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, those are the best days of my life. No, I'm so glad to be out of there. Like I didn't find myself and I wasn't me and happy and like was able to like get to know myself until I was done with that, because I really felt like in high school, I was just going through the motions, and I was following, because we come from a very small town where everyone, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Connecticut. It's really cute and picturesque and everything, but like you're kind of like, I always say this, you're like born, you go to school, you pick one occupation, you get married, you have kids, you go through that whole situation, and then you die. And not to say that it's like terrible, like it's just not for me. It wasn't until I moved away. I moved to New York, I moved to Washington State, I lived in LA for a few years. And it wasn't until then when I saw how other people lived, and how they made money, you know what I mean? Like the unconventional relationships, the unconventional jobs. And then I carry that now with me. And that has created the true self that I am now. But it's so interesting that you thought that I was put together when in fact I was barely even, I didn't know myself at all back then. Does that make you feel any better?
A little bit. But in high school, who really does really know themselves, honestly? Like if you're in high school, if you're gonna get older, like, oh, I knew exactly who I was
Some
gonna be
people, yeah, but some people peak in high school. So they do.
in our high
Because then,
school.
Franny, think about the people that are still in that town and they're like the same person, and they like live on the same street, and like they look the same, they dress the same,
Still with the same person.
or they're dating this, they're married to the same. They peaked back then. So yeah, sometimes they do kind of like this, that's who they were. Not always. I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
so when it came to dating, you were, I know you said that thing about me. Do you have a second thing that kind of made you feel like, shoot, like, why am I not getting asked out?
I was very, very awkward kid. I feel like I was like, I wasn't very adventurous. I was a wet blanket. Let's just say that. I stuck to the rules, and I didn't start not sticking to the rules until I got out of high school, and then I started partying and stuff like that. But when I was in high school, I just kept to myself. Like my grades weren't amazing, but it was like school was my main priority. And so I didn't really socialize or go and do things. So I didn't meet people.
So are you saying that's the reason why you feel like someone wasn't asking you out?
Yeah, because I didn't put myself out there at all. I can't, because I kept to myself. I didn't go out. I was, how do you say? I didn't want to meet new people, and I'm still like that to this day, I feel like. But luckily I found somebody now, but like I'm locked down now. But like as I got older, it hasn't changed that I keep myself closed up a lot. And that kept me from meeting new people and opening up to like the right people at the right times, you know. Most of the people I did meet were like out and about, and it wasn't like those longtime friends you hope to have. Those in passing, and you want to have those relationships where they are more longer lasting than one night or every Friday night or something like that. Like you want to be able to talk to people on a regular basis. And I didn't have those kind of connections at that time that were available. I did have friends, but we were still trying to find ourselves as individuals. So, because we were so young. So like that definitely played a big part in it.
Okay. So is there let's get to something a little less serious. Is there anything that you would give your advice to your, like, I said the thing about the eyebrows. Is there any fashion faux pas or any sort of thing that you feel like you did back then that you were just like, I can think of one thing for you, but I'm going to allow you to share whatever you want. And if you don't say it, I will.
There's so many, though.
I remember Franny. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I remember Franny. So does anyone remember that hairstyle where like you would section off the front? Like I think you could either have a part in the like middle or on the side, and then you would just like really comb it down on both sides, and then you would take the hair and then you would tie it underneath your head. serving as like a headband, basically. Like you made your hair into a headband and then the rest of your hair is just loose. So
Mm-hmm.
Franny was the poster child for this hairdo. She did this hairdo every day of her life. It was unbelievable. And it wasn't just doing it, it was the way she did it. She put so much water. I don't know. Were you scared of frizz? Were you scared of like, did you not like the way dry hair looked? I didn't understand it. But if her hair was so wet in the front, not the back, but her hair was so wet in the front that she always had like droplets of water like along her forehead, like down the sides of her face. And then goodness forbid that you were the person that come into the bathroom after her, because you walk in and it looks like Moby Dick was in there. Just there was water on the mirror, there was water on the walls. Like she was just like dunking her head in there, just wow.
Yep.
And I, to this day, I'm just like, Franny, no. If I had one for me, I think it would be, like I was not good at matching my foundation, and our mom, the honest lady that Gloria is, she was like, Maria, you have like, but like, what the heck? It's not like I had a job back then. I think this was in middle school and I still have a photo of it to this day. And my makeup, there was a clear line. My coloring was not matching at all. This was like two different countries. They didn't know each other. And it was very embarrassing now that I look back on it, but apparently I thought I looked good. It's not like I could buy a foundation and then, oh, it doesn't match, I'm just going to buy another one. I was like a middle school kid using my allowance to buy my first set of makeup because my mom was like, you don't need makeup, you know? So I had what I had and I did what I could with it. And dang, was it wrong?
Yeah. I think we share that same thing. Like I remember mom would always like, if she saw it all like right away, like we could walk right down the stairs, turn the side, and she's like, go upstairs and blend your makeup. But in Spanish, you know. I was like,
what's funny though is she doesn't even wear makeup. So it's not like she was going to teach us how to do it. She just knew that it wasn't right.
She was like, it was so clear to her that it was like so obvious. She's like, go upstairs and blend your makeup. And I'm like, but I did. Go upstairs. You're not going outside like that.
Yeah.
She tried to save us from ourselves.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You were talking earlier about being a follower. And I guess if I could take something back, I don't know if I would take them back because it made for some good stories. But when we were younger, like, I don't know if anyone saw Rugrats when we were kids, but I was the Angelica. And Franny and my brother and our other sister Becky, they were my babies, and I would rule the house when our parents weren't looking, and I would make them do all kinds of stuff. Like for example, Franny's so sweet. Listen to how innocent she was.
Innocent or gullible?
Innocent and gullible. I used to say to Franny, did you know that cleaning fairies exist? And she was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, if you just close your eyes and you just wish it and you pray and you wish to the cleaning fairies, they'll come and they'll clean your room for you. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And so I was like, let's try it. And I closed my eyes and I was like, dear cleaning fairies, I really want you to come and help us, like blah, blah, blah. And I have this whole speech going. It's so long. And Franny's, bless her heart, she wanted me to believe in the cleaning fairies so badly that she realized no one was coming. The room wasn't getting cleaned. I was going to have my heart broken by this. And so she gets up and she runs around the room and starts cleaning. And I'm like, Franny, I think I can hear them. I think it's working. I think the cleaning fairies are here. And Franny's like sweating, like making the bed, sweeping the floor, like just running around, just like fixing everything up. And I was like, okay, cleaning fairies, let's see what you did. And then I pull my hands down and I look next to me. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, the room is sparkling. Like the beds are made, everything's done, everything's clean and beautiful. I look over at Franny. I'm like, Franny, it worked. Do you believe? And then Franny's just sitting there like sweating. She's just dying and like sweating and like this.
My
Just
asthma and
like
everything.
she has asthma, the poor girl. And she's like, yeah, Maria, it really worked. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the cleaning fairies. And I get up and I'm like, wow, that's great. And then I walk out the room like just so proud of myself because I just freaking bamboozled my child sister to clean our bedroom for us. And I
God.
walked out of there scotch-free. And Franny, I owe you an apology for my younger self because she was something. I don't know what she was, but she was something. She was a con artist is what she was.
One of 100 stories that we could talk about, but we don't have the time for that.
We just don't have the time. I have so many stories
So
about
we could
how
write about our childhood.
right, about how I bamboozled these children into doing the things that I wanted them to do.
But it made for amazing stories as adults and for our children. Hopefully they don't learn from what we did.
I mean, I fully plan on passing some of my wisdom down to my kids to do to your kids. So good luck with that.
Oh, I'm gonna train them very well to not listen to your kids.
We'll see. Good luck. Good
Oh,
luck.
goodness.
With my luck though, I will have like children that are like Francheska's personality, and she'll have kids that are like my personality, and then her kids will bully my kids pretty much.
We can only hope, right?
I feel like that's how the universe is going to even this whole thing out for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, probably.
So as far as like, okay, so we had like our little fashion faux pas thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I don't know if I would say anything to my younger self other than like, I really believe that I needed to prioritize myself over like maybe relationships. I think that I have more of that mentality now where I want to be really successful in everything that I do. And back then I used to prioritize like the person that I was with and helping them become successful because I have all these ideas and I have a pretty creative brain. And so someone else is struggling, like my nurturing side is like, oh, I want to help you. I want to make this better for you. Um, and so I would do that in relationships. I would try and make their life better. And that I feel like that really put me behind in my own life and succeeding and getting ahead and whatnot. And I think I would do that. I would prioritize myself and put that energy and invest in me versus investing in other people because and I don't mean like helping people because I will always help people, but in relationships, now I'm like, I want someone that has worked on themselves and I've worked on myself and we don't need one another, but we really would like to be with one another. And we're just going to add to it instead of like, I have to build you up or you have to build me up type thing. That's something that I would definitely say. And then also like maybe to my high school self, just like stop following the crowd. I don't even talk to any of those people anymore. Like, and it's not because I don't like them. It's just like I'm miles away. You know what I mean? And I have friendships that go back to high school. Like there are a few people that I still talk to, but the people that I considered like close friends back then, I don't really speak to them now, and it's not for any particular reason, but I've definitely grown a lot and things are different. I'm sure we could probably like if we had a reunion, maybe at like my 20-year high school reunion, I'll see them. That'll be interesting. I think that'll be interesting. It'll be like going back in time and just but everyone, I don't know. I think it would be interesting. But that's the only advice that I would give myself is just kind of like focus on your dreams and yourself and prioritize that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to start wrapping this thing up. So is there anything, any sort of final thoughts on your topic? Like anything that you didn't say that you feel like you wanted to add to it before we go?
Um, other than that, just patience, having better like developing stronger patience for the process,
Okay.
and patience for other people, which is running very short like recently, but I'm really developing the strategies to like be more grown up about it. But
Mm-hmm.
so because let's be real, I'm not gonna get younger, I'm gonna get older. So I need to start acting my age and not allowing other people to ruin who I want to be and who I want to portray as as myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, we always finish up the episode here at Girls That Gather podcast with a little questionnaire. This is something that James Lipton did in or on Inside the Actors Studio, but it was originally started by a gentleman named Bernard Pivot. Are you ready for your questions? These are rapid fire.
Yes.
Your first question, what is your favorite word?
Creativity.
What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
You are like the fourth person. We're going to start a tally on how many people hate that word on this show because it's literally top. It's the number one hated word on the show so far. What turns you on?
Intelligence.
What turns you off?
Arrogancy, being arrogant about yourself and to others.
What sound or noise do you love?
Candles. Fire.
Flickering, that little crack. That's
Mhm.
nice. It's a good one. What sound or noise do you hate?
The churning of mac and cheese.
Oh, that's a good one. That's disgusting. I just heard it in my head. Did everybody else just hear it in their heads too? Because I did. What is your favorite curse word?
Jackass.
Okay. I don't think anyone else is going to say that one. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I always wanted to be a marine biologist.
Okay. I could see that. Franny was like a mermaid. Like we could have an Olympic sized pool. She would be in it. We could have a puddle in the backyard. Like we had like the tiniest little kiddie pool and Franny would just be doing I can't even call them laps because there was no room, but she would just get in, swim to the other side, get in, swim to the other side, get in, swim to the other side, like just goggles on, always just like wet hair everywhere. But she didn't care. She would just be out there by herself for like hours, just back and forth. So I totally believe that about you. What profession would you not like to attempt?
I would never want to be a plumber. I cannot work with that kind of stuff.
Okay. You don't have the butt for it either. Like actually you do have the butt for it. And I'm talking about plumber's crack. Franny is pear-shaped. She's got a lot of junk in the trunk, so she would have the perfect plumber crack, but she does not want to be a plumber. Moving on. And then this is the final question. We went from a really gross answer to like a really sweet question. But if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'm proud of you
Oh,
for achieving everything that I plan to achieve in my life.
no, that's good. That's good because that's like the ultimate compliment. Like it's like your parent, but times 10,
Oh
saying
yeah.
that they're proud of you, pretty much. I like that answer. That's sweet. Okay, Chooch. So that's it. You made it to the end of this. I'm so glad that you were able to come on. We did have a little bit of a technical difficulties in the middle there, but we pushed through and we finished this episode up. So again, I thank you for coming. You obviously are my sister, so I love you very, very much. Franny is one of those people that she is, how do I explain you? You're like sensitive, but you do have a genuine good heart. And at the end of the day, you would give the shirt off of your back for the person that needed it. And not many people are like that. And that says volumes about you. And continue to do that. I think that's a very beautiful thing that you have in your heart, and protect that. And I want to protect that about you as well.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, do you want to say goodbye to everybody before you go?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all, and hopefully we can do this again soon. And I love you very, very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.